This module is related to the financial globalization and domestic financial market. That how domestic financial market is going to have some benefits, or they are going to face some kind of threats, you can say, or some kind of pressures which they need to handle. So in case of domestic financial scenario, first and foremost important benefit of financial globalization is that the financial sector is going to expand more. The opportunities for investments are growing more. So the investors are having more variety of financial products where they can spend their money and they can generate more returns and finances. Secondly, it provides more liquidity as well as funds. Mean to say, different kind of businesses needs funds and liquidity, and that is available through the international integration or international financial globalization. Ultimately, this allows economies to use that particular investment for the most productive activities. So productivity is going to expand. So local market, domestic market, productive capacity building is going on through the global integration. If we observe the improvement of quality of financial infrastructure, that is the most important area need to be addressed in the domestic market, because you know that information asymmetry, which is the unequal information or non-availability of correct information, is going to create moral hazard as well as adverse selection problem. Actually, these are the major problems which arises due to the asymmetric information, because people are, or the investors are not going to make right choices, so they choose the wrong investment, making a adverse selection. Or if they are going to choose the right investment opportunity, but later they are not going to use their funds by focusing on that particular opportunity, and they generate some kind of moral hazard. So they are not going to properly utilize those funds for which purpose these funds are available. So this means that kind of problems may be minimized, because definitely whenever the international institutions are going to involve, international investors are going to involve, they are going to create some kind of pressures to ensure the information flow should be more quick and more accurate. Further improvement in quality and availability of credit will be there, because sometimes the businessman who needs finances, they are available with that kind of terms and conditions which are not suitable. But since there is no other option, so investors have to take the funds. But in that case, global funds are available. Therefore, they can choose according to their own terms and conditions. Then capital flows, they will move from abundant, where the capital is abundant, from that area to those areas where capital is in short, or it has some shortage. So actually flow of capital will move automatically from capital abundant areas or geographical locations towards those geographical locations where capital deficiency exists. And it leads towards more marginal productivity of capital, because you know, whenever the deficiency of capital exists, it leads towards higher marginal productivity of capital. So if productivity of capital is going to increase, it will generate more returns. So LDCs and emerging markets, whenever they are using these funds or that liquidity through the international financial integration, they are capable to generate more returns due to the high marginal productivities. Further, financial products as well as the instruments and the services, they are going to expand in terms of their availability and in terms of their even innovation, because new type of financial instruments are going to introduce, new kind of financial products are going to introduce. Therefore, they are providing much more options for different kind of investment opportunities. Risk diversification opportunities are going to expand, because you know, more risk is attached with the financial sector as compared to real sector. So whenever the people, investors or people who are going to do investment in financial sector, they want to minimize their risk. So if the risk diversification possibilities are available, they are comfortable. Further development of bonds and stock markets is going to happen, because most of the institutions and the businesses have the opportunity to issue bonds, because international market is open for them and they can sell shares across the world. through international these markets, international bourses, as well as international financial markets. However, important thing is there that domestic markets may shrink due to some limitations which may face because they are not prepared to absorb that capital, just like the uncompetitive or regulatory scenario may exist. Non-transparency, it means whatever how things are going to move. Internationally, investors are more concerned about how their funds are going to be used by the companies, so the transparency is required. Inefficient use, inefficient allocation of these funds, as well as the short of market discipline, because if discipline is not there, then it may lead towards more inefficiency. So these are the possible limitations which may reduce the possibility that the domestic market is going to generate benefit from international financial globalization. Here, the important role which is played by the international banks as well as international financial institution, that includes they are going to reduce the risk exposure, because whenever they are going to enter into the market, they are going to mediate the parties, the investors and the businessmen, the people who are lending the money and those who are borrowing money. So they are going to coordinate them more effectively, and they are going to reduce the risk exposure. They are providing different kind of consultancies and information so on. Here, these institutions are going to impose different kind of standards, accounting and supervisory practices. They are providing corporate governance techniques which are not available for the domestic economies. Otherwise, state-of-the-art management techniques are available through these institutions, and global shareholding monitoring is possible, because otherwise the people who are buying shares across the world, they cannot monitor how markets are working. Here we can observe the relationship between foreign capital and financial sector development, how they are connected. If we observe these connections with reference to the low income countries, then you may observe this relationship is not positive. It is to an extent stagnant relationship. The capital flows are growing up and the domestic credit is not growing up along with that. In case of middle income countries, the relationship is positive, and in case of top 10 emerging economies, it becomes more steep. So this means these countries are actually getting the maximum benefit out of these capital flows or financial flows. Secondly, this diagram shows the relationship between foreign direct investment and school enrollment in terms of how human capital is going to affect through the foreign direct investment. And here we can observe if the school enrollment is growing up, it is moving up, then it is leading towards more foreign direct investment, right? So foreign direct investment has direct connection with the school enrollment or more education. Degree of political stability is also leading towards higher relationship. Higher the degree of political stability, more the short-term capital flows. And if we observe the financial depth and portfolio flows, then it has this kind of relationship. If portfolio flows is high, even the low financial depth is going to ensure that without financial depth, even portfolio flows may be more. But on the one side, if it is medium, then portfolio flows are not going to increase much more. In case of high, it is going to increase. So either financial depth is quite low or it is quite high. In that case, portfolio flows are going to increase much more.